he's saying all his powers are being taken away.
Actually said he's being conned.
Right?
Right.
I'm not making any blame games. I'm going by what the governor said.
Yeah.
He said he needed help in dealing with the cartels.
Right.
Okay, the general came in to deal with the cartels.
Right.
But now, as I sit, you know, Mtani, when you talk with guys, the guys will tell you that the government is the cartel, and other guys will say Sonko is the cartel.
Right.
So guys are shifting blame, but we have to look at this deeper. What precipitated the president to bring in enemies? Number one, the governor was asked to choose a deputy governor. There were some issues he failed to.
Right.
So in a way, I would say the national government is kind of punishing him for not choosing a deputy governor. If he had chosen a deputy governor, I don't think we would be having a NMS. So in my view, the general is coming in to fill in the shoes of Igada.
Okay. So he's
What Igada was supposed to be doing is now what the general has been brought to Nairobi to do, because there was a stalemate of some sort from, you know, the national the governor and the national government.
Okay. What do you think, History?
I will pick up a point he said in terms of cartels.
Right.
I would be wrong to assume that Nairobi County is the only county that has cartels. I would presume that Mombasa County also has very serious cartels.
Right.
Kiambu, these counties that have major interest and resources, and like Mombasa, the port, there's a lot of business going on down there.
Right.
For me personally, I would say for the governor who was elected by over 800,000 voters to have woken up one morning and thought, I need help. It tells us, first of all, when he was vying, he didn't know what he was asking for.
Right.
He didn't know the weight of being a governor. Governor Kidero ran the county without asking for help.
Right.
So I don't know what these cartels he was facing that he needed help. For me, the way I see it, he sold out Nairobians. He actually betrayed our trust. For those who voted for him, because I didn't. But he betrayed the trust of those who voted for him. They woke up very early.
Right.
They believed Sonko would be the man of the people,
Solution.
the one to bring change quickly.
Right.
You know, like chap chap. And the first few days he was trying. There was a lot of good things and nice things he was doing, even though some people say it's PR. My thinking is he just played smart politics. He knew the impeachment is coming. And so for him to survive, unlike Waitito,
Right.
he realized if Waitito will go, even him is not, he can go anytime. So my thinking is he struck a deal. Uhuru knew this is the right time now to do what I wanted to do, have a legacy in Nairobi. And he has said it again and again. The president has been quoted saying that I have a legacy to live in Nairobi. And I appointed the general to work for me. And all these things that are happening, even if it is NMS, the president has a very big hand in it. So Uhuru has his own political interest.
Right.
Sonko had to survive.
Right.
So we agree it's politics. But now, where has it set us? It has even now gone to the point it is in the BBI report that Nairobi should be given special status.
Right.
And MPs should go there and come up with which function should be for the government and which ones for the county. My thinking is that is a rushed decision. It's the same thing with BBI. We are saying don't rush, consult widely. Is Nairobi very unique that it cannot be managed? If what he say, the DG, the general, what he's doing now is what Igade probably would have done. Right. So if the DG was Sonko's deputy, probably he would be doing the same things.
Right.
So Nairobi County has not failed as an institution. It is one individual who decided to give roles. So for the president to bring in the military, we respect his decision. He has his own reasons, but it has brought in confusion. I would say we remain with the status quo. Nairobi County remains as a full county. Don't compromise it. Let the next governor come, fix Nairobi. There's always, in politics, they say, always give hope. Don't show people Nairobi has failed. It is an individual, in my view.
Right.
Yes.
And if I might ask, what confusion is that?
There's a confusion in terms of now, even when you go to social media, if you post something about Nairobi, say, but Nairobi is being dissolved. Nobody has dissolved it.
Right.
Others are saying, but Sonko is our governor. We don't want that.
Right.
We want one president. That's it. Not there's a president and there's another one, mini president. The general seems to be like now the one running the city. Sonko cannot launch any project.
Right.
Sonko cannot do anything in this city now.
Right.
Politically, even in terms of development, everything has been taken by the general. So you have a governor and you have a NMS.
So would say he's quote unquote acting.
I think his ceremony is not even acting. Yeah, I think
He's not
he
ceremonial.
can't act. He can't even access his office. No. So I don't know, maybe some Nairobi is
What's
just
your take?
messed up.
Number one, I would say that every house has its own challenges. And sometimes, if I can remember very well, the Jubilee real Team Nairobi had a great plan for this city.
Right.
And maybe something happened during the procedures or during the transitions, and something happened that the real plan that was there when we had Sonko, Karenyamu, Sakaja, Wangoi, and Bishop Margaret. During that time, they had an agreement that this is how we should run Nairobi. Now, that is when we failed. That whatever we had planned that time did not happen. That Sonko, after the one who will win the nomination, will have the governor, the second person deputy governor, that person will be given a position, and the fourth, like they were already done the dividing.
Right.
Now, that is when we started with the wrong footing by not honoring things that we had agreed. I would say how you start a journey determines how you finish.
Right.
So I think all this that is happening in the Nairobi County, it's because of that, the beginning. So we need to sort out the beginning first.
So go to the root.
When we go to the root cause, what happened? Number two, Nairobi is still the city under the sun. And the main problem that we have a bit is a bit of leadership. And if we get the right leadership, we will go back to being, actually, according to the research, and I'm so here will confirm, Nairobi is still the best place to do business in the whole Africa.
Let me pick on that. Do you agree with him?
Okay. If
That is
talking-
according to the research
According
that
to-
was done.
Right.
When we're talking of working capital, Nairobi, let's say we have very highly skilled people. And you can even cite a few things that, let's say, just Kenya has done.
Right.
Like the M-Pesa platform, it hasn't been rivaled by any other platform in the
Right.
world. Right?
Right.
That's just one example. The second example is GGPay.
Yes.
Remember GGPay?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
GGPay, they're doing the whole of Malawi.
Yes.
See? And the contract was cancelled by the county. But another country has adopted
Our
this.
county.
Yes.
Right. Right.
But the whole scope was taken by a country,
Yes.
and he is doing the whole of that nation. So,
Yes.
I would say, in terms of human capital, we are up there. What we lack is the willpower of the leadership, and actually, I would even blame Kenyans for throwing every stone towards the leaders.
Okay.
Yes.
Because when we talk of, let's say, job opportunities and employment,
Right.
how many leaders have opened companies and have employed more than 1,000 staff? Nil. Those who steal, they stash their loot abroad. They don't reinvest, right?
Right.
So we would like to, this mind shift, if we were to talk of Nairobi being great, we'll have to articulate on ways of reviving industries and locking out cheap imports.
Yes.
That is bare minimum. You have to lock out cheap imports for this city to grow. And if this city grows, the whole of Kenya grows because this is a capital city.
But I ask yet again, since you're saying it's still in terms of businesses, and all of you can answer, we have city councils constantly on the necks of Kenyans every other time. What exactly is the problem? Is it that the funds are not being distributed to the right people, or what exactly is the problem?
I think it's mismanagement and priorities. We get priorities wrong. If I would like to remind you of the late minister for local government by the name Karisa Omaida.
Right.
If you can remember during his tenure, you can remember a lot of things that he did. He controlled the hawkers, he controlled the matatu. How you negotiate even yourself with these business people will determine how you will work. But if you use force, it will not work. If you use this is what I'm saying, you are not that leader that you should consult. The same way with BBI, person is coming say we are going for a referendum and not consulting with Kenyans, it will backlash. The main point I would say is that if our leaders come down and listen to Kenyans, to Nairobians, all these things will work out. The problem is not the city council, because most of them, they are being ordered, do this. When your boss tell you, go and no matatu will get into Nairobi, it will not get. Even if that county Askari want those matatu to come in because of revenue, because the boss has said it. So the main problem the main problem is the leadership that we have. If we can do the way Karisa Omaida did during the time he was local minister, I assure you, if him was still the DG right now or governor, I'm sure we could be in different places right now.
So the main issue is mismanagement.
Yes, mismanagement at the county. If you remember during Aladwat's time, county was mismanagement. During Bikwathika, during Majiwa, even the necklace of the governor, Dirango. You will find even such a small thing like the necklace will get stolen in the county assembly offices. So I think this problem is us Kenyans. We are not electing leaders with a vision. And that is what we need.
And if that's the case, SG, do you think then we should move the leadership from county to national?
No. You see, he's given you an example. He's given you an example of the late... that... You see now the challenge for us Kenyans, you can never know someone's heart. If all of us vie for Nairobi County Senate or women rep or governor, he will have his manifesto. You see, Kenyans are just judging by what you're saying, and maybe you've helped the poor here and there, so they think you'll be a good guy. I think prayer is also important, because I think if we spend more time praying, you know, a long time ago, God would even tell people, this is the man I want.
Right.
Because you can never know someone's heart. There are some counties like, is it Kivuta Kibwana's county, Makueni? They didn't know his heart. But fortunately, when he got in, he's done so much for those people. They would wish he would continue as a governor even after the expiry of the 2 terms. So I would not say the failure of one governor should mean he will fail when he becomes governor. We need someone who has managerial skills, someone who can put Nairobi in as a well-structured system. There's a lot of confusion there. You don't know who does what. You don't know who reports to who. And they do that very deliberately. So that if it is a document you need that should come out in one day, you find it after 3 weeks. Not that it takes 3 weeks, but we have to put in so many bureaucracies because we want to make money. So I think it would get, and I pray that Nairobi will get there, so that at least we can have an example of someone who can work. So let us not give up. If Sonko has not delivered, let us accept. If he mismanaged the city, we accept it. And we pray that Nairobians will not be blindfolded by the shenanigans, the nice things, and then you say, let's elect him again to do what? If he's elected again, he's now going to give those remaining few functions. He's now going to say, now take it, all of it, because I cannot manage the city. I think for me, Sonko has been a total failure for Nairobi. I mean, we have 46 governors. They all have challenges. They all face cartels.
Right.
We even have women in Kirinyaga and in Kitui. You tell me it's been easy for them to manage a whole county with close to maybe 1 million people. They have challenges, but they've weathered the storm. Only 3 years, the deputy resigned.
Right.
Within 2 years, I think 3 months, the deputy resigned. He has fired so many CECs, the county secretary, even the speaker, they made sure she cannot function.
Right.
So when you, and I think we had an opportunity, we saw these things even before, from hitting the walls to rolling on the mud.
Right.
You see, when in a relationship, you're told to watch out for the red flags.
Right. So
The
those are
red flags were there. They were always there, but we liked it. Now these are the consequences.
Wasn't he fitting the vision of the hustler?
No, that was not hustler. That was PR done well. That was not the hustler narrative. It was very well crafted PR, because if you be seen to help the poor, and he said those who are in the slums are the majority.
Right.
If you are the one giving them 100 shillings, they would vote for you. But if I gave you 100 shillings to elect me, I don't owe you anything.
Right.
I don't owe you anything once I become the governor or the MP or the senator. Once you accept that 200 shillings, never call him. Alikusot, sasa. Or what can you demand from him?
Right.
Yeah, so I think let's us not give up as Nairobi County. I think it's still a special status county, but should not be run by the military. Neither should the national government take it. Because my thinking is, if they take Nairobi County, the way that constitution is drafted, the 2010 constitution, it says the MPs can also go for any other county and decide this county is also being mismanaged, let it go to the national government. Soon devolution will be compromised. So we protect devolution, and the Honorable Molo Odinga has been at the forefront of protecting devolution. How could he even allow such a clause to be in the BBI, that Nairobi should be given a special status? For me, there is a bit of double speak. Let them not tell us Nairobi is too special. Someone can manage it. Let's give someone else a chance.
I will say this, when a house has a problem,
When he'll say,
when a house has a problem,
right.
it's good to call a pastor to pray for it. And I would say in Nairobi, we need a pastor, a bishop, to pray for this county
Is the solution
and
really
to manage this county. I think previously we have had bishops and pastors leading different constituencies. And I will give a good example here in Starehe.
But as you answer that question, let me ask you a question. Because you've used the Bible.
Yes.
Everything starts in the spiritual.
Yes.
So if there's an issue with management, then
Yes.
it means church management is worse. Because it usually starts with the spiritual, and then the ripple effect is now what you'd call the physical. So this being Nairobi. So are bishops really the solution?
According to backtrack records of different leaders that I know who have come directly from the church, they have managed their constituencies and counties very well. I'll give you an example of Kifuda. Kifuda Kibwana, he's one of church leaders, and you can see how the church he has handled the county. If you remember, between 2007 to 2012, when we had the whole Starehe constituency, we had Bishop Margaret.
Yeah.
And you can truly remember how she managed Starehe constituency.
Right.
Up to date, go any corner of this constituency, you will find projects that she has done.
Right.
And they are still working. That one will tell you, for sure, we need church leaders. And even the Bible says, when godly people are leadership, the people will rejoice. And those wicked people who are in leadership, the people who do what? Will cry. And that's why we are crying as a county that even we cannot handle planning itself. Like it's a house, you don't know how to plan this seat to be like this, this seat like this. So I think the main problem is we need a godly leader in this county. Number two, you have asked about the national government handling such things.
Yeah, the functions of
the function of Nairobi. I would say this country is a democratic country. When we voted in 2013, we didn't vote for some functions to be handled with this team and other for this team. We voted for whole county. And I will say this, I will now be in front fighting for Nairobi, is that there will be no function will be handled by other institution until ile day that will say now this we cannot handle. And I'm sure if we have made it, Karisa might have made it at that time, and he had the whole country as a local minister and handling them, we can still handle this county with no transfers of functions.
Okay, so we need to involve spiritual leaders.
Yes, spiritual leaders, and having the right leadership. Right leadership from the MCAs to MPs. Having the right leadership, we will succeed handling this county.
Okay.
The problem is leadership.
Okay. Yes, sir.
If I may interject a bit.
Yes.
First, I respond to my colleague here. When you're talking of failure in leadership, we have to look at the whole scope.
Yeah.
Because we are accustomed to looking at that one particular individual to sort everything out. Leadership is about teamwork. The team that you work with defines your legacy, right? So if there is no, what do you call it? You're not in sync with whoever you're supposed to work with, then you expect problems there. So in a way, I wouldn't want to go into bashing either the governor or the NMS or the president. I just want to look at this logistically. If you are to remember, the Nairobi County, the MCAs were always fighting, right? So there's the one problem that doesn't involve the governor. The MCAs themselves, are they disciplined? In a way that, I even expected them to form caucuses within their regions, maybe an Eastlands caucus, a Westlands caucus, such caucuses to discuss development and issues affecting their particular areas, because different areas, they have different challenges. Challenges in, say, a place like Makadara are different from Westlands.
Right.
So there's no way MP of Westlands has specific challenges, he's dealing with specific challenges, Makadara different, kabisa, right? So if they were to create those caucuses and sit down and discuss, and that is after they have done effective public participation with the people, you'd actually be seeing the city rolling out and things getting done.
Okay.
So the buck doesn't really stop at the governor.
Right.
It starts na mwananchi wa ground, the MCA.
Right.
The MCA, if the MCA is passionate enough to sort his hood out, he'll actually push the agendas to the county and things will be done. I'll give you a good example. There's an MCA Umoja, Ronaldo. The guy has stomached practically like all court roads. Something I'm sure even I think like 2 MPs maybe in Nairobi have done such a thing. An MCA who's willing to work for the people. And he has done tremendous job. You cannot, even if he's in whichever political inclination you look at his job, you just say congratulations. You are doing a good job. If we had such MCAs in Nairobi, we wouldn't be talking of a failed Nairobi. Because what I'm looking at is politics of, is it patronage? Most are inclined into shouting battles and making their allegiances known instead of working for the people. Then number two, there's a way, I had a proposal those sub-counties, you know, the governor is the head, right?
Right.
Then supposedly maybe the DG, but we have none, and now the CECs. The next step from the CECs is where do we go to? We go to the ward admins. But we should be having regional sub-county, like mayors, in those sub-counties. So that, they manage the development of those areas. So in a way, I would say that the structuring of the county, it has some gaps. It has some gaps. And those gaps are the ones that now you should blame to the executive because of the failures of the system. Because one, for you to even collect revenue, you must have an effective system. You can't go ask for revenue from a hawker, hujamjengea kitu.
Right.
You are not providing services. You haven't maybe set up a toilet or a shed.
Right.
You know, the money that one pays as tax, it is for services rendered by the county. But most are paying
So it's
without being.
basically reaping where you've not sowed.
That is it. I'll give you a good example. Karengata welfare. You're aware of Karengata?
No.
Karengata, they are a welfare group for Karen residents.
Yes.
Karen, right?
Yes.
There's a time they were not getting some services from the county,
Okay.
and yet they are being asked for land rates. Land rates and the water bills and stuff. They had to write a letter and say, we are not paying until we see these services come to us.
Right.
And it happened. So I would say for us to have an effective system, we also have to push to rightfully get the services we need as the people of Nairobi. That is it, yeah.
I will add something.
Interject, okay.
I've remember about structure of Nairobi. I will give an example in I think like Kipia. They have small things called municipalities. When they have municipalities, even the function, you devolve the county to common mananchi. I know we have the constituency managers that report directly to the county, but they don't have even that capability. They don't have even a manual on how to handle a small sub-county. So the problem, I will agree with it, is the teamwork and even how we appoint the team that is reporting direct to the governor. If we have a good teamwork, for example in Mombasa, how Joho is handling things, as much as there is a places he have failed, but in terms of managers, he has good managers. In Makueni, good managers.
Right.
Even if you ask me right now, I don't know who is the sub-county administrator for Starehe. You see? And that is a huge role. It's like an MP.
So we have major loopholes in the village.
Yes,
Okay.
we have a lot of loopholes in Nairobi that we need to fill up. And having the right MCAs, that one will help. If you have a right MCA, ward administrator, they can work as a team with a constituency manager and a good governor. I'll assure you Nairobi will be transformed with few days. If we can see NMS have done few things right now, imagine having a good structure from governor to ward administrator, how structures will have.
Okay, let's digress back to the elephant in the room. Yes. How do you think BBI benefits Nairobi?
I would say, okay, there is a benefit. To me, the division of the constituencies, having new constituency, it will create one, employment. Number two, development will come to constituencies. Like for example, like now if, let's say Kasarani. Kasarani is too big. It's if they get divided, they will come 3 constituency. 3 constituency, one constituency gets over around 100 million. Now having 3 constituency, that is 300,000. No, 300 million.
Right.
From the taxpayer.
Right.
From the taxpayer. Now imagine those 300 million, you'll build more schools, you'll build more roads, you'll build more police stations, hospitals. Now, even the development will, we will see development happening. But the main problem is common Kenyan will suffer a lot because of taxes. Because that is more taxes. You have to pay more MPs and securities and stuff. But development way, it will help. Because like Nairobi will have 33 constituency. Imagine having 33 constituency, that is developed money that will be devolved to the small units that we have.
So the county governor is getting 35% from BBI, 5% goes to the MCAs.
Yes.
Then we add more money to the
MP.
extra MPs.
Yes.
All this money is going to Mwananchi.
Yes.
What is our problem? Is it?
There's something you haven't mentioned.
Yes, sir.
The extra constituencies will also create extra wards.
Yes.
So that is extra MCAs.
Yes.
It won't just be a constituency without
And
wards.
wards.
So each created constituency will have like 3 or 4 wards. So those are additional MCAs, right? So which means Nairobi, the wage bill will be
We'll go up.
up there. That's what I was saying. We actually need to, think
Really think.
outside the box
Right.
or without the box.
Right.
Because we are doing all this thing of subdividing so that the Mwananchi can feel the impact, right? But it's time guys were told it's not a must to come to Nairobi. If it's in the industrial area, it's the upper South B, just like a small place. If a county like Mandera were to give them land and give them, land 99 years lease free, build your warehouses and build staff houses. Do that to all industrial areas and start the migration of people from Nairobi to other counties. You decongest this. Nairobi is already congested. As it were, the way Nairobi was designed by the colonial powers, it's not supposed to hold a population of more than 1.5 million.
Yes.
We are way over, we are 4 million voters.
Voters.
That is voters.
Voters, yes.
That is voters. We are not included the children and all.
And animals.
Right.
So in all, the population of Nairobi is close to 8 to 9 million.
Yes.
An extra 2 million that passes daily.
Right.
You see? So we have to rethink. That's why, in a way, I'm trying to see the vision of the president. I support him in whatever he's doing. He wanted to he wanted to stop the politicking and concentrate with work. But in his vision, what I'm saying is, he's trying to open up Nairobi, the infrastructural bit. And, estates like Makongeni, you're aware they all will be flattened and some new structures will be built. That is systematic. That's a systematic upgrading of Nairobi, expanding the CBD, and, making some services a bit cheap, like the railroad and all. But also, in the same scope, he's trying to remove the slums from Nairobi. By removing is this: the houses in Makongeni and all, railway houses and old city council houses. Those are like hereditary houses.
Yes.
Ukitoka naingia, such. They pay, I think, rent of 100 or 200 bob. So that house, it uses a lot of land, and it's just one house. What would you imagine if a flat was built there? How many people would it have?
Can you honestly say
Right.
that even these houses they built here for 1 million shillings, that truly
The
here
houses
at
that were
Ngara,
actually.
or whichever they are saying are for the Mwananchi, that they are going to tell people now from Kibra, you can now migrate. And, anyway, to answer the question of BBI,
Have you finished your point, sir?
no, the question you asked. Let me say this. What does BBI have for Nairobi? I will not say it has anything good for Nairobi. Because even if they're increasing the constituencies and Mwananchi will benefit, they are still saying that Nairobi should be accorded a special status and take away the functions from the governor to the national government. So BBI itself wants to kill Nairobi County, the entire county.
Let
So
me-
for me,
Okay.
BBI has nothing
To
good
do with the
for
benefits of
Nairobi. For Nairobi.
Okay, sir.
Kama inatoa Nairobi County anti-functions ziende kwa NMS, to me it's an insult to the. He said that we are skilled, we are intelligent, that we cannot produce a governor.
That's
We
allowed
can
to
only
defend
be
his
managed by the president who has been voted for by everybody. So the president is managing the country and he's also managing the county, and he wants us to pass BBI. For me, I think that is selfish. Even though he's saying we don't play politics, I see a lot of politics in it. I see his own selfish ambition in this thing. So even though Nairobians will say NMS is working, for me it's killing devolution. Nothing
The point
good
is
for
always you
BBI.
were saying, sir.
Okay, thing is this. I don't know why people are afraid of NMS. As I see, where I see it, it's not yet gazetted. It will go on after
Yes.
2022. This is a transitional.
It moves like a duck.
Let me finish.
Defend your point.
Thing is, the president wants to leave a legacy.
By force.
By hook or crook,
Yes.
whatever we call it. But the legacy will have to be
Yes.
visible.
Yes.
Okay.
Before 2022.
Number two, NMS, in my thinking, okay, it has been proposed in the BBI,
Yes.
which is, it is still a report, okay? It hasn't yet been passed. Let's agree.
We are going for a referendum.
Now,
But we are going for a
Let
when
him
you're
finish
talking,
his
when,
point.
when you're
Let
talking,
him-
let me help him.
when you're talking of, I mean,
Let him
when,
finish
when
his
you're
point.
talking of special status,
Yes.
you're talking of special status like New York. New York,
No.
they have a mayor. Just let me finish. Special status doesn't mean we are killing devolution. We are embracing the fact that Nairobi, it holds a special status because it's the capital city.
And it dawned on us just
Nairobi's GDP
Yes.
is more than Rwanda and Burundi combined.
It wasn't special under Kidero. It became special under
No.
Sonko.
Because of
Finish your point.
mismanagement.
Wait, let him finish
Let me
his
finish.
point.
With such amount of, let's say, even the GDP itself, we have to, we must have a plan B. If plan A fails,
Who is we?
Kenyans. Kenyans. I'm not saying the deep state.
See, you said it yourself.
So in a way,
Yes.
I would say the county and the national government, at some point they'll have to agree on which roles are very sensitive that the national government can support, and which ones the county will be able to handle. Because you're talking of a county that holds a GDP of more than 2 East African countries.
Okay, good
Yeah,
job.
let me help
Not attend the referendum.
my friend here. I will remind you during 2007 to 2013, Kibra is still the largest slums that we have. But if you can see between the Langata side, during that Kibaki time and Bishop Wanjiru, when he was Assistant Minister of Housing, I remember very well building a house where, like for example, in that Kibra, the people who lived there,
High rise.
they got free houses. Free houses like those buildings. Then they go to another place, they take a small portion, they build a big house, then they will divide it to everyone, and everyone will get. I do support that one. Housing, I do support it. And it will help.
1 million shillings.
It will help on managing even the space that we have. Like I've lived in Mudhurwa, like a whole flat carrying 10 people. Imagine having a huge straight flat, you will carry around 30 people.
So
you have created houses for other.
It will manage population.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the plans there.
Number two, in terms of sewage, now it will be easy for the county to manage the sewer line. And it will be easy
The county.
to manage everything.
The county.
Number two, Nairobi is very special, but we have good leaders. I know that the county has been transfer function for only 3 years, which expires in 2022. 2022, 2021. Then.
Hopefully.
It will expire. That is how the
But it depends,
memorandum
yeah.
that
what
It,
is how
it depends on how it rolls out, though.
even actually is not how it roll out. If
Depends.
Babia,
We've had
if
that is
many
always on
projects.
paper.
See how
That's what's on
President is
paper.
it is in
Because
paper.
yes.
He's very
If
strategic.
BBI passes, which will not vote it for, will not vote for it, the contract between national government and the county will expire, and by 2022 we'll be having a new governor, and that governor is upon him or her to sign another contract with who? With the national government. So I'll say we have not lost the hope. We still have the hope. If we refuse the BBI, we'll have our county. So we need to work harder that the Nairobi to remain the way it is. By 2022, after the expiring of the NMS, the general goes back to Kismayu to fight and to protect our country, and we have
So
our
he's on
own
contract?
Yeah, he's on contract. After 3 years, he will go home. Or he'll be deployed to other duties. Number two, I'll say this. The only good thing that I have seen in BBI, it's creating new constituencies. That means creating new development unit. The same way in 2007 we didn't have counties. The moment we created counties, development came to our counties. Having new constituencies, development went more further downwards. Devolution has won in the county. By support the MCAs a few days ago, they said they want 30%, not 5%. Imagine a small place having 30% of the county revenue. It's a development in that place. Having a small ward controlling over 50 million, imagine the kind of development MCA will bring, and MP will bring, and still the national government. A lot of things will happen.
Okay. As we wrap up this discussion, what should be your pledge in short? Is Nairobi still the city under the sun? And do you support the BBI report?
Okay. I support the BBI report, and partly because I'm also a businessman, and this election violence, they actually really affect us big time. I can talk from my own personal experience. You lose business, your contracts they get cancelled and such. So, people forgot before the handshake, we were having tear gas mandates. They were disrupting our businesses. We couldn't even travel. We have businesses, maybe we have clients in Kisumu and other places. We can't go. Guys are talking face value, those who haven't passed through those challenges. Yeah? But if you have passed through those challenges, anything that is peaceful, you welcome it. Yeah, maybe a few issues here and there, but generally, you would get everything you want. For me, the peace, I welcome the peace. The 35% to counties is a plus. The additional constituencies that will also create other wards, I welcome that. On the executive, I'm a bit shaky because there are two line of thoughts. One is saying that the leader of national, they say Kimunya's post, majority leader will be the PM. Others are saying the PM and the majority will still be in the same government. So I'm waiting for someone to clear that part out. I'm not yet clear on that. But generally, I support the BBI. And as for Nairobi, Nairobi still has hope. We have come a long way. Even though there are challenges, political noise here and there, we are seeing things being done. Okay, that is from the government. The governor started well. Maybe he slipped a bit, but Kwanguka si, he might try again. We're all humans. People make mistakes and others learn from the mistakes and proceed. But as for Nairobi, there's hope. But this time round, don't look at the top seat, look at your MC. Start from base, home. That person you choose in your ward will determine whether you get development or not. The buck doesn't stop with the governance. The buck stops with whoever you choose at the grassroots. If it's passionate, and I've seen leaders at the grassroots doing great stuff, like I cited MCA Ronaldo. if you have such an MCA in each and every ward in Nairobi, you won't be complaining of a failed governor or a failed NMS, such. Everything will be streamlined.
So the leadership begins from the bottom, going
You
up.
start from the bottom going up.
Okay. Yes, G?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's good to be careful with whom we choose, and maybe in future debates we can be able to look at individuals who would want to be the governor of Nairobi. In terms of BBI, the handshake was good. It brought peace for those who were in business. What was not very clear was the coming for this BBI whole thing. Personally, I think it's a personal initiative. I don't think it's an initiative for Kenyans. We have leaders pushing for a referendum where we have doctors and nurses dying every day because of COVID, very insensitive to the needs of Mwananchi. And it proposes, or there's something the president said at Bomas that the entire document that almost cost 10 billion, the only two things you would really want to see happen, that is inclusivity and solution for the youth. We haven't found a solution for the youth even through BBI, but this subject of inclusivity, the deputy president asked a question, and I had also thought about it before. If I am the winner of the presidential election, and these are the MPs who won in my party, I get to choose the prime minister from my party. So if, assuming my party is from one tribe, and we won, so I'm choosing from one tribe to who will be the PM, deputy prime minister, how does that bring inclusivity? I feel this document has cost Kenyans so much money and not achieved the reason why we won. Even the church has said the things we presented, not even a comma. In fact, the Catholic Church were very specific, not even a comma. I was in one of those presentations for the elderly. They didn't, it wasn't about Mwananchi. It's actually, the other day I saw governors going to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to explain to them the thinking behind certain statements. So I thought, is it the Right Honorable Raila who wrote the document? That's why he has to explain it. He's the one pushing it every day. He's pushing it more than anybody else. And then you tell me it's for Kenyans. I don't buy that, but time will tell.
Okay. Honorable Mudia?
I will say this. Nairobi, we have hope. And when even a tree is cut off, there's still a hope for the tree to grow again. And Nairobi will grow again with the right leadership and a leader from the church. And what I say, a mother. If you get we have tried 2 men, now it's time to.
Actually, they've been very new men since the mayors.
Yeah. Now, actually, if you remember the time of Margaret Kenyatta, the first lady.
First mayor.
The first.
She was the first mayor.
Yeah, she was the first mayor. You can, all this development, even the social halls that we have, she's the one who thought about it. That the hall will bring the community together, they will have a place to meet, and most of that
dynamics
time.
of a woman, that is what we need for Nairobi.
At that time you see the development that we had then. Now at least, now let us go back there. Because if the first person was a woman, if right now we get the woman as a governor, I am sure the family unity, the family unity, you will benefit a lot. Because when you have a woman in a house, the house will never lack food. That is number one. So there's still hope for Nairobi.
BBI.
Number 2, for devolution, yes, I support it. Let counties get money. But we don't have to go for a referendum for counties to get money. We don't have to go for a referendum for youth to get money. We can manage all these proposals through the parliament. Let them bring the position of executive to referendum. And we deal executive only in the referendum. Do you want a prime minister? Yes or no? Now we deal it on the ballot box. But all the others, I've read them. There is no other thing that require referendum. Let them bring them, take them to the parliament, both Senate and National Assembly, let them be handled. But position of Prime Minister, let us handle it on the ground. and we will support it. As the youth,
Yes.
we haven't benefit for BBI, and we will never benefit from it until they give us an ear, until they listen to us.
And I believe your point is home.
Yes.
Thank you once again, gentlemen, for joining me for the show. I appreciate your time you've taken to come here.
Thank you.
As you've heard from our panelists, but I ask again, is there hope for Nairobi? Is Nairobi still the city under the sun? Well, this is all the time that we had. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been your host, Michelle Hope, and welcome to I've been your host, Michelle Hope. See you next Monday, same time, same place. Keep it JBN.